Acts 27, 39 to 44 records the final moments of a long and violent journey at sea. The narrative brings into view a ship breaking apart, soldiers contemplating death, prisoners facing execution, and yet, through it all, a word previously spoken stands unbroken. When daylight came, the land was not recognized, yet a certain bay with a beach appeared. This moment is marked by uncertainty from human sight, yet certainty from divine declaration. Earlier, it had been declared that not a single life would be lost, though the ship itself would be destroyed. Now, as they perceive land without recognition, the tension between what is seen and what has been spoken comes into sharp focus. The sailors take counsel to run the ship aground. Anchors are cut loose, the rudders are freed, and the foresail is raised to meet the wind. Every action presses toward shore, yet the outcome is not smooth arrival, but collision. The vessel strikes a place where two seas meet, a fitting image of transition. The bow is stuck fast and immovable, while the stern is broken by the force of the waves. What carried them cannot continue. It must give way. Here the ship becomes a picture of a system that has served its purpose, but cannot endure the force of what is now unfolding. It brought them this far, but it cannot bring them into what lies ahead. Its breaking is not failure of the promise, but the very means through which the promise is fulfilled. The soldiers' counsel reveals the old order of thinking: kill the prisoners lest any escape. Under that system, responsibility is enforced by death. The preservation of order demands the destruction of those entrusted to it. But the centurion, desiring to save Paul, intervenes and prevents this act. Authority yields to a greater purpose, and death is restrained. The preservation of Paul is not merely personal, it is tied to the word already given. Because he must stand before Caesar, all who sail with him are granted life. The many are preserved for the sake of the one, not by their own standing, but by their inclusion with him. The promise spoken over Paul extends outward, encompassing all aboard. Then comes the command. Those who can swim are to cast themselves first into the sea and get to land. The rest are to follow on boards and broken pieces of the ship. The very fragments of what was destroyed become the means of deliverance. What could not remain whole becomes sufficient in pieces. The wreckage itself carries them safely to shore. Thus it happened that all were brought safely to land. Not one perished. The word proved true in every detail. The passage presents a striking contrast. A vessel that cannot survive, a structure that breaks under pressure, yet a promise that remains untouched by the storm. The destruction is real, the loss of the ship is total, but the preservation of life is complete. In this scene, salvation is not the result of human strength, navigation, or merit. Some swim, others cling to fragments, but none arrive by their own power alone. The outcome is determined not by their ability, but by the word that had already gone forth. The sea rages, the ship collapses, and human systems fail. Yet the declaration stands: all will be saved. And so it is, not through the endurance of the vessel, but through its breaking. Not through human control, but through a promise that governs the outcome from beginning to end.